This interview tackles one of the most controversial stories in the region right now. Piers Morgan sits down with Dr. Mustafa Barghouti to discuss Israel's proposed death penalty law and why it's sparked intense international debate. Watch the full exchange, and I'll share my thoughts afterward.
As the Palestinian political leader, Dr. Mustafa Barghouti, welcome back to Uncensored. I just want to read what you published on X. You said the Israeli Knesset's approval of a law allowing the execution of Palestinian prisoners is a racist, fascist and dangerous escalation that directly threatens thousands of Palestinian detainees and further entrenches Israel's apartheid system and policy of collective punishment. And that comes along with Amnesty International, who said the law creates a dual legal system because Palestinians in the West Bank face a death penalty as a default in military courts. Well, Israeli settlers in the same territory are tried in civilian courts where the penalty is discretionary and harder to apply. So there is a two-tier legal system clearly being established here. What is your response to this?
Well, exactly. Two different systems of laws for two people living on the same land is apartheid. That's how you classify and identify apartheid. But it is a much worse apartheid than the one that prevailed in South Africa. Even in the worst time of South African apartheid system, nobody dared to say that if a black man kills a white man, he will be executed. But if a white man kills a black man, he will not be judged. That's exactly what this Israeli law says. First of all, it's illegal by international law because Israel has no jurisdiction over occupied territories, as international law says. Second, it is legalizing what is already going on of executing Palestinians. You know, since October 7th, in Israeli jails, in the West Bank and in Israel, 90 Palestinian detainees have already been killed, either by torture, either by starvation, or by deprivation of medical treatment. And more than that, to prove that it is a system of discrimination, there are two very interesting figures. 99% of Palestinian cases taken to Israeli courts are convicted, 99%, while 96% of any Israelis attacking Palestinians or conducting violence will never be convicted. As a matter of fact, out of 10,000 cases of Israeli terrorists, settlers, gangs attacking Palestinians, out of 10,000 cases, only 8 were convicted. So clearly, this is a system of discrimination. But more than that, I said that this law shows how far and how fast the Israeli establishment has gone in the direction of fascism. Imagine, not only they pass such a terrible law, which is considered a war crime by international community, but more than that, they are celebrating it, drinking drinks, celebrating the passage of the law and putting on their chests, men and women, Israeli members of the parliament, putting on their chest, whether they are men or women, symbols and pins of hanged man's knots, the rope that they will use to hang Palestinians.
It was disgusting.
Totally. And more than that, is that some Western governments say it's the only democracy in the Middle East? Is this democracy?
Well, it's not democracy. I think when you have a two-tier legal system, that is not democracy. You know, I live in an actual democracy here in the UK, and everybody is treated the same way under the law. There is no two-tier law. If there was a law brought in specifically for one ethnic group that didn't apply to others, all hell would break loose. And yet this seems to have been widely accepted and applauded by most of the Israeli population, according to the polls I've seen.
And that's what worries me more than anything else. It's not just the Israeli government that has moved towards fascism. It's not just the Israeli governing establishment, including 2/3 of the Israeli members of the Knesset, the Israeli Jewish members of the Knesset, but it's the whole society. 90% of the society supports the war now. And the vast majority support such a terrible law. That is dangerous. If I was an Israeli, I would worry very much because this fascism will not only hurt Palestinians and kill Palestinians as they are doing, it will eat up the Israel from within. And that's why some people in Israel are protesting, because fascism is never good for anybody. And this fascism would not have grown so fast and so big if it wasn't for the world's abstention from establishing sanctions on Israel for committing genocide, for committing collective punishment and starvation against the people of Gaza, for allowing Israeli terrorist gangs to move around and attack every day 10 to 12 communities, burning houses, burning cars, shooting people. That's the result of the weakness of the international community and the absence of sanctions on Israel.
This is one of those stories that raises difficult questions. If the reports discussed in this clip are accurate, the legal and humanitarian implications are significant and deserve serious attention. Whatever your perspective, it's important to look at the facts, follow credible reporting, and have these conversations openly. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.